Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I'm getting these cards ready. I asked what our conversation was going to be about, and what I heard is Ancient Ones Awakening. So, a lot of really intense things, intense energies are in the air. Okay. In your area, just kind of trying to get an idea. Oh, let me put my rings on. Just got home from the gym. All right. In your area, is it clear skies or is it cloudy? I would love to know. And if it is cloudy, what color are the clouds? Are they the usual, like white cotton, or are the clouds in your area like gray, um gray storm clouds, or are the clouds in your area more of like a beige brown color, like muddy water? Ooh, just curious. Very, very, very curious. Very curious. And if your area is cloudy, I would love to know the general area, like the state that you're in. Yeah, gray with a yellow tint. I'm very sensitive to colors. And it's funny. My husband always says that I am colorblind because like I see colors differently, like different. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. I see like the undertones and all of that in colors. And so I identify colors differently. And I'm seeing quite a bit of some type of tint in these clouds, in the area I'm in. So it's crazy to me. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, oops. Okay, well, that one wanted to come out. So let's go ahead and bring that out. Right, that. One more deck. So I asked what our conversation was going to be about Ancient Ones Awakening. There are shifts within the collective consciousness. There are shifts that I've been picking up on personally in the planetary template. These shifts are also being experienced on the surface of the planet by way of tectonic shifting. I'm seeing quite a bit of information being shared regarding volcanic activity, and all kind of different things. So let's see what the cards are going to tell us. Okay. All right. So this is a doom and gloom. It's not a doom and gloom. I'm totally being sarcastic, you guys. Um, it's not it's not a happy go lucky message. It's not. I wouldn't say that it's a doom and gloom type message. Um, but it's definitely, it's not a chipper one. So first and foremost, there's something that's being brought into our homeland. You can consider our existence kind of like Middle Earth in the Lord of the Rings series. You know, we're Middle Earth. So there's this extremely high frequency space of existence, and then there's extremely dense space of existence. There's subterranean, there's terrestrial, that there's so many different things that come together, and we're like smack dab in the middle of it. What's happening right now with the ancients that are awakening is a foundation is being laid. This foundation, there's two types of ancients. If we're going to like really strip it down to the very, very basics of what this message is, There's two types of ancients that are kind of being awoken from their slumber. There's the benevolent ones who kind of just, they're very ancient beings. They've just existed. They have observed, they've stayed in their lane, they haven't interfered. In some instances, these ancient ones have been very supportive of the development, the natural progression of consciousness evolution. And then, of course, the second type, if we're again going to strip it down to its bare bones, the second type would be the malignant ones. These are the ones that worked closely with the fallen angelics. These are the ones who made it possible, who inspired the angelics who fell to launch a full scale rebellion, a full scale attempt at a spiritual coup d'etat. That's what the fall was about. It was an attempt to overthrow divinity itself and really just mad grab for power, right? So whatever ancients are waking up, they're waking up kind of like in pairs, meaning we have an agonist and then we have an antagonist. So they're pairs, the opposing polarities. They're both waking up the same time. So that's good. And then it's also bad. The good is that there's balance that's being allowed to take place as these ancients are waking up. The bad is that the negative, more compete, compare, fallen patriarchy consciousness of the negative ones, they're going ham. They're about to really just go ham. We're not going to experience it in a way like you would think, in a way that the movies are showing us we would experience something like this. I I doubt that we'll be able to experience like a Jack and the magical beanstalk type circumstance where we're hearing this fee fi fo fum ancient type being extremely large. We might see giants. We might. There's a lot of content that's being pushed out there as the veil is being thinned between different lower dimensions. People think that 5D is a high dimension. It's not. It's not. Technically, at this point, 9D, ninth dimensional consciousness, is considered lower consciousness. 9D and lower makes up the lower consciousness fields. Because now we have 18 dimensional fields of consciousness that we have access to in this time space matrix. So, whatever this is, it was present during the foundation of the matrix we live in right now. It was present. Let me ask my husband for some water. Sorry, guys. I sprayed all my plants with neem oil and I'm gonna die. Sorry. Can I have water? The neem is killing my throat. All right. Whatever is waking up, whatever it is that's waking up, it was part of the foundation period, right? What does neem oil do for them? So sorry, it's not about your question. It's my personal feeling about what's happening. My plants are very closely tied to me. We're heavily bonded, my plants and I. And whatever happens to me ends up affecting my plants. And so I got sick and that compromised my plants. And because my plants took in a lot of my illness, and they were then existing in diseased state, they became vulnerable to mites. So now all my plants have been infested by mites. It's the very early stages of a mite infestation, and I happened to catch it early enough. So I had to spray everything. It's basically like indoor jungle in my house. The whole house smells like neem shit. My whole family is just like done with me. I'm just like, listen, the babies are sick. Thank you, sir. So they're not quite sick, but I sprayed them anyways because listen, we're thorough. We're thorough. We treat all the babies once one gets sick. All right. So again, whatever ancients are coming through, they're part of the foundation of what was created when this time space matrix was created, right? The negative ones, the ones that are more malignant in their perception and behaviors, they're more malignant in their intentions. They're not going to succeed. They're going to try very hard. They're probably something that it's going to be experienced in such a way that seems like some type of natural phenomenon. Fog, clouds, um, storms, a lot of the different things that existed in ancient times, they were worshipped in such a way that they were the rulers of specific elements: fire, wind, earth, water. And it's a thing of they weren't just rulers of that. They sometimes would present as that specific element that they governed. So some of these very ancient things will come into form and present as elements that we're accustomed to. Do you notice how the water has been acting different? Do you notice how the clouds look different? Do you notice how the wind is is kind of different? Like if you've lived in an area for a prolonged period, do you remember the wind being as crazy as it's been during different periods? I've lived in certain areas at different points in my journey. And I remember one of the more recent houses that I had moved to, we had lived nearby before. I don't remember the wind sustaining 70 miles per hour. Like at one point, it sounded in the middle of the night, it sounded like the roof was going to rip off. And that house was a newer house. And I was like, what the hell is happening? Is this a cardboard house? It's a newer home. And it literally sounded like the roof was going to rip off. And it was sustained for several days of this type of thing. And it was at a specific time, a specific window of time that it would happen. So that definitely was abnormal. I was definitely abnormal. People who aren't paying attention, they'll be like, oh, you're just being paranoid. Am I being paranoid or am I neurodivergent autistic and I pay very close attention to patterns? Because I pay very close attention to patterns. I do. And I became aware of those type of things that were happening. So the more negative, more malignant type of ancients, they're not going to be successful in what they're trying to accomplish, but they will try very, very hard. It's going to require humans, us, to refuse to allow our energy to be siphoned. Excuse me. If you're allowing your energy to be siphoned, then your energy won't go towards the very process that it needs to go towards in order to further your ascension mechanics. If the energy continues to be drained, if the energy continues to be something that um, you get distracted by intentional attempts to engage you and your energy is allowed to go there, it's then not going to be used to continue to increase your frequency. You won't be able to level up, right? The whole point of all of this is to trigger you into a space of awakening, a space of rising in your level of awareness. Excuse me. I think for some of us, we're in a space of incubation right now. And that's why soul and creation are allowing for these types of events to trigger us. The triggering that occurs, it can always be of benefit to you if you allow it. If you're going to allow it to simply be something that causes you to feel afraid, then that's going to drain you. It's going to deplete you unnecessarily. However, if you're going to allow it to be something where, okay, I'm aware there's a process that's taking place, this process is going to upset me in some type of way, I'm going to mitigate those feelings, and then the energy that increases, the frequency that I pull in at a rapid rate because I was triggered, I'm instead going to intentionally use that for whatever ascension mechanics that I'm in right now. That can be something so powerful, so powerful, but it really depends on you. It has to be something where, to some degree, you're choosing this. You're choosing to allow whatever this is to be of the highest degree of benefit for you in your process. You're being reminded right now by your soul that you are, in fact, secure, you're safe, you're protected. Just because things happen in life does not mean that you've been forsaken by soul, that you have been completely forgotten, that you are not cared for, that your existence doesn't matter. I've actually found it to be the opposite. For those of us who go through a lot, oftentimes I find that we don't realize it's because we're being prepared for whatever our elevated purpose is. Having an elevated purpose does not mean you're better than others. It means that you were custom designed, that you were specifically calibrated to fulfill a specific function. You're here in a space of service to the collective whole. It doesn't mean that you are here to enable their fear or to allow people to take advantage of you and maltreat you. Absolutely not. You are not asked to tolerate that. However, you are here to facilitate, to assist. Notice how I'm not saying you're here to save anyone else, because you're not. You are not here to save anyone else. As much as some people would like to believe that they're given they're given this very elevated purpose, that they are placed above others because, you're stronger, you're a chosen one, you're part of some elite group, and you're having pity for others, and so you're going to save them. That's a very ego based, very distorted perception. Very, very ego based. I remember one time someone got really upset with me during a live stream because they didn't want to hear that they're not here to save others. Okay. um, you know, you can go ahead and try and save others. Um, uh, a very gentle, loving suggestion. How about you save yourself from your ego first? I'm just, you know, yeah, that's, you know, yeah. Yeah. Some people get really upset if you have a different stance, meaning you don't believe that anyone is here to save anyone else. You believe that we can get through things more powerfully and more efficiently together, working interdependently, right? Versus thinking that you're here to save others. These ancient ones that are awakening, they're not here to save us. They're here because another cycle, a very ancient cycle, has been reinitiated. They typically wake up, they come out of their dormancy when we're approaching another reset event, which is where we're at. And it's not a type of reset that people are expecting. It's not the type of reset that's talked about in spiritual circles, conspiracy circles, the whole Nasara Jasara thing. Like there's it, yeah. All of that is just piggybacking off of a known event. These are cascade events that eventually wipe clear the landscape. It's like seeing a flash flood happening, and we're all afraid because, oh, the destruction and this and that. I mean, if you know a flash flood is coming, you simply go to higher ground. That's why a lot of people are rising in their level of dimensional consciousness. Right? All right. So there's a lot of um plants. I don't know if that's going to translate properly. There's a lot of organic portals. These are people who have been phase locked into density, and they don't have the capacity to rise higher. And because of that gap between the rising level of consciousness of the collective whole and where they're stuck, where they're stationed, there is this gap, this space that other consciousness can then occupy. No one's answering you because you're fucking annoying. You're out. Um, Hold on. uh, there. Okay. Just did you a favor. Now that you're blocked, you don't have to keep commenting, waiting for people to pay attention to you. So, anyways, um, so that gap that exists between where someone is anchored in organic portal and where the collective consciousness is now, this is an empty space that can be occupied by a foreign consciousness. And this is the very reason why organic portals serve kind of as an Uber ride for other things. Typically what will use those type of people are parasitic or demonic things, because those that are not malignant have no interest in hijacking another vessel. It's like hijacking a vessel. So, with that, with the degree of organic portals that are now being used for this type of activity, there are some that are being allowed to reach levels of prominence, levels of expanded exposure to the general public. They're being given platforms. And as they're given these platforms, they're now being used as a mouthpiece for things that have a very nefarious, very covert agenda. You have to be careful about this. These are typically people who are extremely accusatory, extremely manipulative. These are the people who have a broad reach on social media, and they love to start fucking drama. It's drama left and right. One thing after another thing after another thing. And they will always take the stance of, I'm trying to tell you guys to protect you. No, they're banking off of your fear. They're banking off of your fear. Humans are now addicted to drama because of our fixation with movies and television shows and the type of psychological programming and psychological warfare that's been happening. Our brains are now conditioned to be drawn to drama and trauma. There's this one content creator on TikTok. I don't know her name. A lot of people have been talking about her. And it's just kind of like weird because no one ever says anything good. Yet she has such a huge following. I've never seen her videos. I don't even know her name. Something Trevino or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, you're out too, Asher. You're fucking annoying. You and your John account are both out. You're the same person. Fuck out of here. Anyways, so people are constantly just talking and talking and talking badly about this person. I'm kind of like, who is this? I don't know who it is. I'm not interested in finding out either, right? It's like that, where people are drawn to it because it's nothing but drama. Because that's what all I hear is drama. Do I think the person is drama? I don't know. I don't know the person. I've never seen their content. But everything people post is about the drama. That's what we're drawn to. So you have these organic portals that are being given platforms with expansive reach in order to prime us. First, the attention we are paying those organic portals is intended to siphon energy from us. Typically, typically, not all, but it's very common. People who have a larger platform are allowed to have expansive reach because their content tends to be mindless drivel. There are some exceptions, of course. And those exceptions who reverberate with truth, they tend to be extremely vilified by large numbers of people for no reason. What's that guy's name? He's an older gentleman, extremely intelligent, and his point of view is beautiful, beautiful. And I believe he's Canadian. And I think what happened was he refused to go along with the programmed narrative, the approved narrative. He refused to go along with that. And so his license, because he's like a psychologist, I believe, a licensed psychologist. Oh, he was a licensed psychologist. And he was given two options: either retract your comments, retract your public stance, and go through however many hours of reprogramming, or we're going to void your license to treat. I don't remember his name. And so he forewent his license. He let it go. He's like, take the license. You will not force me. Jordan Peterson. Yes, Jordan Peterson. What a beautiful, all the content that I've seen, which is not an excessive amount. I've seen quite a bit of his content, and the gist of the energy that I get from Jordan Peterson is genuine. It's authentic. He's thinking for himself, right? And so quite a few people went out of their way to villainize him. See, a lot of the content creators that have this expansive reach, and they're not necessarily being villainized, it's just mindless drivel that they're creating. It's intended to siphon your energy. And as your energy is siphoned, what happens? You're destabilized. You're less able to be fully aware, fully cognizant of what is being attempted on you energetically, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, socially, professionally, personally, every aspect of your life. Every aspect of your life, right? You have to be careful about where you allow your intentions to be rooted. You have to be careful about where you allow your focus to flow. If your intentions are rooted in having other people like you, in following the norm, fitting in, you're going to be very, very misguided. You have your own internal guidance, it's inside. It exists inside you. Your soul, your higher self, it speaks to you directly. See this guidance? It's in reverse. This is speaking about the people who are being allowed to continue to have such an expansive reach, and all they're talking about is things that are either mindless drivel or completely convoluted and involuted. It's going to completely affect your ability to heal yourself and the way you see yourself. If the way you see yourself continues to be distorted because of other people's words, you have a lot of these people who are trying to covertly shame you for being who you are. And if you don't agree with them, then you're wrong, you're bad, you're evil. You're not evil. You're not evil. You listen to the words of other people trying to convince you that you are less than who you actually are, then you will begin to behave, begin to function as less than what you're actually here to do. This is very common on social media. Very, very common on social media. And if you're on social media, if you create content yourself, and your content is something that is profound, you're not interested in dominating others. That's very threatening to people who are interested in being placed on a pedestal. They'll go after you. I've had this happen several times. I don't care. I've had it happen several times. Why don't I care? Because their words are not truth. I know myself. And anyone who wants to believe the words that are lies about someone they don't even know, go. I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to collect people or collect souls. I'm here to simply be myself in my most authentic state and share the gift of allowing you to witness me in whatever mood I'm in, whatever comes out of my mouth. Nothing is ever scripted with me. And you guys are free to take it how you take it. Is it my intention to offend? No. Do the things that I say sometimes offend? Sometimes. Sometimes. People can say whatever they want about me, but one truth will always be undeniable. I'm authentic. I do not sugarcoat. I do not lie. I will not tell you things to make you feel better. I am authentic. You can call me rude. You can call me blunt. You can say whatever you want. but you will never be able to successfully accuse me of being a liar, a cheat, or fake. Ever. Publicly visible for almost 10 years, you will never find content where I contradict myself just to ride a trend. Be careful. These people who ride trends in order to continue to manipulate the algorithm, to spread their account, to spread their content, be careful. I'm not saying steer clear of them. I'm saying use discernment because sometimes little tidbits of what they say are intended to trigger a process within you. I believe you need to make your own decisions and not be afraid to do so. Just be careful about allowing your energy to be siphoned. These ancient ones that are awakening, all these different things have been being put into play in order to set the stage for their arrival. They are now slowly arriving. What does this mean? People who are very sensitive to energy, to consciousness, to shifts in consciousness and energy, excuse me, damn, you will begin to feel, what would be the appropriate word? A little bit off center. That's the start of it. Just a little bit off center. Not quite feeling like yourself. You don't quite really know what's wrong or if something is even wrong. Um, Something seems different. Different about life, different about how you receive life. You can't quite put your finger on it though. Something's kind of different. So one of two things happens when you enter into that state. You can either begin to avoid, meaning you're not going to look deeper into why you feel this way. Instead, you're going to try and convince yourself that you're imagining things, you're being paranoid, you're probably just moody, maybe someone just pissed you off, all of these external excuses. Or you're going to be like, what's going on with me? Hey, guys, do I feel different to you? Like how do I feel different? What do you think is going on with me? And you're going to dig and dig and dig until you get to the root of the answer you're seeking. That's okay. That's not doubt. That's exploration of self. That's asking the people you trust to help you make sense of what is different. Like there's times where I will wake up and I will look in the mirror. For some reason, my face looks different. It's usually after I've been moved slightly, ever so slightly from my space of center, and I'm feeling the shifting in the environment around me, in the collective consciousness. I'll feel that. And then when I get up out of bed, go brush my teeth, I look in the mirror, I'm like, huh, my face looks different today. What is different? What is it? Oh, no. I don't know. Doesn't happen every day. But when I sense that specific type of shift, it usually is a type of shift that's a precursor for a collective pivot. My face will suddenly look kind of different. I still look like me, but something is different. I don't know if like my face shape slightly different, maybe something in the shape of my eyes, maybe I'm a little bit puffier, maybe I'm very deflated. I don't know what it is. Have you guys ever experienced that? And there's been times where I've noticed it, I haven't said anything, and then some people will be like, "Oh, you look different." Or this one I hear more often, not all the time, but more often than the other comments. You look like you're aging in reverse. And I'm like, because there's something different about my face. I don't know what it is, right? I, I don't know what it is. I do my makeup the same way. I don't know what it is. I think what's happening is the energy is being run through different channels because you have different channels, different pathways in your auric field, and it's being run through different pathways, and you're detecting that shift in energy. So it might not even be an actual physical change to your face. It might be your perception of energy that's being shown to the collective whole as your identity. So these ancient ones, my God, who is yelling? You guys hear that extreme frequency? Listen, just talking. You damaged my ear. You better find me some bomb ass health insurance to fix that. I'm just saying, it's still going. Mm. I'm feeling it all the way into my tonsil. It's a extremely high frequency. Oh, I got a notification. It says, because I'm trying to figure out like who the hell is yelling in my ear. And it's okay. It says needed more power for this. Okay, something, someone is topping up. You'll need to begin learning how to like heavily shield yourself and heavily protect your energy. Oh, I have. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's not on here. Let me add it really quick so I can put it on screen. For those of you who are not familiar with me, like maybe you're really new to me or you haven't heard me talk about this yet, I actually teach classes. I teach aura spectra bioregenesis. This is a system, it's called Kokoro 33. And what I teach in Kokoro 33 are the applied biospiritual theories of aura spectra bioregenesis. I was not taught this. I came into this life just knowing how to do this. It stems from my memories, previous life memories that were left intact at birth. So I teach the morphogenetic fundamentals workshop. I have a new date coming up. If you guys have missed the dates, the previous workshop dates, here's your chance. People have been asking me, when are you going to have another workshop? And I was like, I don't know. My schedule is crazy. It is crazy. But I have a new workshop date, and in this workshop, I teach you how to harness your own energy to work on yourself, to secure your auric field, to kind of make sure that your chakras are nice and healthy. You don't need to have previous experience. You don't need to there's no prerequisites. As a matter of fact, it's better if you haven't taken other classes because what I teach pretty much contradicts what all those other classes are teaching. So, with this workshop, you can really, really tap into your power. I'm not teaching you to work on other people. And I'm very clear on that. I'm teaching you to work on yourself. I teach a certification program for people who want to work on others. But for this workshop, it's a 4 hour workshop. It's done virtually in 1 day. So 2 hours, a lunch break, and then 2 hour clinical where I'm teaching you live instruction how to do the techniques while I'm assessing you as you do the techniques. So you get live in real time suggestions on how to tweak your technique to really, really bring out your true power. With this class, and this is base level class for my system, by the time we're done with this workshop, you will have the capacity to reach 12th dimensional frequency right off the bat. Reiki masters harness harmonic universe one frequencies. That means dimensions one, two, and three. That's a very base level. That does not correct issues. It's like putting a band aid on something that needs surgical correction. An ace bandage for a knee that needs total knee replacement. Not going to work. That is not going to work. Right? My system, you work on yourself at 12th dimensional frequency. And for most people, they can go higher than 12th dimensional. So that's what this system teaches. For what's about to happen, what I'm suspecting will happen with, let's see. Oh, you guys are feeling the frequency. Yeah, there something was yelling, and I'm kind of just like, yeah, y'all need to be quiet. Okay, I'm gonna clear the room. I'm gonna clear the room. Is it recommended to take this workshop before taking the certification program? It will help your sense of confidence if you take the workshop first. As of right now, I don't have a prerequisite for the certification program. So, and that's going to be changing. My certification program, the admissions process will be changing. There will be an interview process, an application. We're also going to be having you do some personality testing to make sure it's the right fit before you're accepted into the program. And it's basically like you trying to apply for a university because I'm converting it to a university. I'm in the process. It's going to be a long process, but I'm converting it into a full blown university. And once I earn that classification, I'll be able to change the website to a .edu. You need to have federally recognized educational institution status before you can use a .edu. So big things planned, very, very big things planned. If you can harness your energy, your gifts, and your skills in such a way that you can efficiently correct blockages and distortions for yourself, which everyone should be able to do this, you don't need an intercessor. If it's a very complex thing, maybe someone with more pronounced understanding of energetics can help facilitate. But for the most part, everyone should really be able to work on themselves. At the very least, your chakras. At the very, very least, your chakras, right? Um, let's see. Is Coco 33 University just about energetically healing others? It's a university that's being created to support the learning and capacity of neurodivergence of the highest degree, quantum divergence. The university is the Quantum Divergent Foundation. I head a foundation. I don't speak about it publicly, but I'm the head of a foundation specifically geared towards facilitating the pronounced quantum learning that quantum divergence are capable of. We don't learn in the same way that a neurotypical person learns. As a matter of fact, our learning is also quite different from a neurodivergent. Quantum divergence, their brains process information in a very different manner. Very, very different manner. This is why, like my children have the capacity to skip grades. My 16-year-old is preparing for testing out of high school already. My adult son, he tested out of high school at 16. He's been doing his career since he was 13. He's self taught. He taught himself how to be a sound engineer. Bitch, what? mm-hmm. So they're all my children are quantum divergence. Like they all are getting orthodontic treatment, right? They all have braces at this point. And as part of that process, the office that we go to is, I love that office. They have the children, it doesn't matter if you're a minor, they have the children and the parent sign a contract of what's expected, like what you have to maintain and this and that. And most kids would just initial everything and be done. That office knows my children reads every single word of the contract. It doesn't matter their age. They want to know what they are legally agreeing to. And I'm just like, okay, baby, we're going to get a copy of that. I've read it before. Okay, no, I won't rush you. You're right. You should read everything. Go ahead. You read everything. It's okay. You go right ahead. You go right ahead. Right. So with quantum divergence, these are the people who are often very much shunned by society. That's okay. They don't fit in, they don't behave like other people. These are the people who are the weirdos, they're the freaks. I think those are badges of honor. I am weird. I'm absolutely one of the freaks. I don't fit in. It's okay. It's okay. A lot of the quantum divergents who are here to really negate the presence of the malignant ancient ones, they're the ones that the ancients that are awakening, these are the ones that they're really trying to siphon the energy from. But they can't because we usually have raging ADHD. We do. They can't keep our attention long enough. And we have built in bullshit detectors and lie detectors. We know when something's bullshit. We don't typically confront it unless we feel we're forced to. We won't confront it. We'll just keep scrolling. That should be the official hand signal for quantum divergence. That means scroll. Just keep scrolling. That's what we do. If you don't agree, you don't comment. You just keep scrolling because your energy is not going to be siphoned. You know, the rage bait type of content that's posted by some people? It don't work. I'm just like, oh, this is bullshit. Scroll. Quantum divergence. We save our energy for what matters most. This is just a natural built in type of characteristic that we have. So these ancient ones, they really want quantum divergent energy. They want to siphon that. They can't, though. They can't because I know all of my kids, they're into their vernacular and this word means something different than the actual definition. But most quantum divergence function as sigmas. I know. Mom's using Skittle of Bebop toilet race. just just to trigger my kids if they're listening. I'm just saying. They all get so like perturbed if I say any of those things. They're so upset with me. Anyways, they function as sigmas. And if you look at, I believe I forget his name. It's that psychology test that you can take to figure out what you are. For the sigmas, y'all don't give a damn what other people are doing. Just don't hurt people in front of you. Don't plot and plan to harm others, and you just leave everybody alone. Do you do what you do? You don't like what I'm doing? Stop watching. It's not a big deal. The quantum divergence. That's how Myers Briggs. Yes, thank you, Jessica. I was gonna say Maslow. And I was like, no, no, that's not it. It's Myers Briggs. Yes. A lot of what's happening right now is to identify those who have that capacity. Sigmas are not born. A Sigma status, that's due to your response to the traumas that you face. You have a higher likelihood of entering into that type of perception and function, but you're not born like that. It's how you choose to move through your traumas. It's just like how people can be born as a neurotypical mindset and then they can become neurodivergent depending on what's happened. There are certain things that affect the programming and the function of the brain. Anything that causes your brain to function in a way that is not neurotypical suddenly makes you neurodivergent. You've diverged from the typical function. And the more of those things that you have, the more of those conditions, and my disdain for this word, disabilities that you have, the more neurodivergent you are. I'm very neurodivergent. I have a lot of alphabet soup. I have ADHD, slight ODD, dyslexia, just all kind of different things. It's not a disability, at least not for me. If you allow it to wildly get out of control and not learn how to harness the intrinsic power benefits that come with those conditions, then yeah, it's going to affect your quality of life, at which point it becomes pathological. It becomes a disease state, which then is an actual disability. If you allow yourself to really hone in on the beneficial aspects of those states of being, I think you'll see that you come either really close to becoming a quantum divergent or you tip over into quantum divergency. If you enter into a space of quantum divergency, and this is difficult to do, but it can happen. If you tip over into a space of quantum divergency, the potentiality for you to harness extreme levels of frequency, exponential. You'll even be able to exit out of this matrix at will and bring in frequencies that exceed the 18-dimensional time space matrix we exist in. This is some big stuff. So there's quite a few people, as we're experiencing these different traumatic events, either happening to us or we're witnessing things happening to others, and it's traumatizing us just by witnessing it. It's creating some neural pathways that can be used to harness abilities you didn't have access to before. It's dilating these pathways that have been atrophied. It's shrunk down, and that's why you haven't been able to access it. A lot of people who are neurodivergent experience different levels of intensity of childhood trauma. Some would hypothesize that you become neurodivergent because of the trauma. Your brain could not cope with whatever trauma you experience. And so it diverged from the neurotypical type of processing and entered into a different type of processing. Can neurotypicals also reach high frequencies? They could reach mid frequencies if they try really, really hard and train for much of their lives. Neurotypicals often will struggle to activate just 12 strands of their DNA. That's their cap, 12 strands. Most will not be able to activate the 12 strands. So the lower level neurodivergence, they typically will be able to reach the 12 strands within their lifetime, no effort. With a little bit more effort, a little bit more focus, they could potentially reach 20 strands. For neurotypicals who have a more elevated type of not neurotypicals, neurodivergence who have a more elevated degree of divergency, they probably will reach 24 strands. A little bit of effort. For quantum divergence, they could reach 36 strands of activation. Quantum divergence can do a lot of things. Their brain does not function in a linear way. So they can activate, and it's different strands. And then they go through a major life trauma and whoosh, all those strands. It's like points on different strands. But because those are like little beacons and they've already mapped it in their head unknowingly, then the trauma will set all of that on fire and light it all up. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nutty. Like years ago, I want to say maybe I was in, I don't know if I was in my late teens, early 20s. Like I've always been weird my whole life, even as a toddler. I've just always been really weird. It's okay. That's cute as hell as a kid. No, I'm joking. I was told that. I don't know what kind of kid I was. I was intense. So I remember being in my adolescent. I don't know what age at this point, but I remember watching a movie, and there was something in the movie that gave me the idea of seeing a door inside my head, and I just opened the door. I don't know what happened, but I felt a pop in my head. And when I felt that pop, I was like, oh my God, is this an aneurysm? I told you I was intense. And I'm a freaking medical geek. I love medical stuff. So I diagnosed myself with an aneurysm and I was waiting to die. But I didn't. And I was just sitting there, like holding my head, like, okay, any moment now I'm going to lose consciousness. I was home alone too. Nothing happened. I sat there for like maybe 5 minutes. And then I realized my brain feels different. Something's happening in my brain. I don't think I'm going to die anymore, but something's happening in my brain. And I sat there, just like staring, trying to assess. And then I realized my higher sensory perception, everything went fully online. My whole life, I've had little bits and pieces, even before that. Even as a child, I had little bits and pieces, experiences of clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, like all the clairs. I've had little bits and pieces of it. But in that moment, everything turned on because I opened the door. And then I was like, oh, how do I close it? I don't like this feeling. It felt like all my nerve endings were exposed to the air and my brain was very overwhelmed. And since then, I couldn't close the door. I visualized a sledgehammer to ram it shut. That broke the door. So there's no door. There's no door anymore. But that's the thing with quantum divergence. Boom, just like that. All my clairs active. No effort. I didn't even go into some type of meditative state. I didn't go into full lotus with mudras. I just, in the middle of watching the movie, I was like, oh, what would happen if I opened the door in my head? I don't even remember what the movie is. I closed my eyes and I opened the door. And then I felt the pop. And I was like, oh, what did I do? Quantum divergent. I wasn't taught that. That's not something that's normalized in my family. None of that. None of that is normalized. I grew up extremely religious, Catholic. This is considered demonic. My abilities in the religion I was brought into and fully integrated into, have all my sacraments, considers all of the gifts I was given by creation demonic. So the environments that you exist within, they will either support your growth, which you'll grow no matter what, or they're something that will cause you to suppress and oppress and reject and compartmentalize, partition off, but you can never fully get rid of it. It's something that when you reach a level of maturity, typically emotional and intellectual maturity, which then together leads to spiritual and energetic maturity, it will come back. It will go back online. And so, as all of this is happening in the world, it's forcing us to mature rapidly as we're experiencing all of these different things. It doesn't even have to happen to you personally. As we're experiencing all of these different things and witnessing conflict in other parts of the world and suffering and stress and all of these different things, it's affecting all of the empaths. You're rapidly developing without realizing. As you rapidly develop, your access to certain gifts will begin to be restored. Whatever these ancient things are, they want access to that energy. They need tremendous amounts of fuel, etheric fuel, to be able to do what they intend to do. Um, oh, Pags, I'm so glad your husband was able to get his health under control. What if you think you're immature still? Honestly, it doesn't matter what you think about yourself. I'm about to be 46. I think I'm still immature AF. Sometimes. Sometimes I am. Doesn't change the fact that I'm custom designed to do the work I'm doing now. You see, your perception of yourself is often rooted in what other people have convinced you about yourself. It's not rooted in truth. I think I'm just a regular person. I don't think there's anything special about me. That's not a line. That's not to make me more relatable. I really genuinely believe that. Like, and I could do things that other people can't do, and that just means that I need to help people in ways that other people can't help them. That's all that means. Does that take from my value? Does that lessen my ability? Not at all. Not at all. It makes me have to work that much harder to not get in my own way, to not restrict the energy and the potentiality of helping someone else. Yeah. But in that added friction, I'm actually increasing my capacity to do more. It's just like when you add weights to the bar at the gym. It makes it harder. Why would you want to make it harder? Well, I mean, do you want to grow? I saw this video. I downloaded it. It's amazing. This girl is probably a fitness competitor. She probably does wellness because her lower half is so heavily effing developed, like swoon. And she's showing off her glutes and her glute hamstring tie-in. Her hamstrings are chef's kiss. Like, girl, I want your lesson. I want your workout plan. So it's this thing of people ask her how she grew her legs like that because their legs don't grow. And in the caption, she wrote, because you lift like a fairy. I was cracking up. Hey, you want that type of growth? You got to lift real fucking heavy. You got to lift. How bad do you want that growth? However bad you want that, that's how heavy you have to be willing to lift. My hamstrings wouldn't grow, became very quad dominant. And I told my coach, like, my hamstrings are not responding. Well, yeah, because I'm quad dominant. The quads are taking over all the work. Hamstrings are going to be minimally activated because of that. You know what my coach told me? Force it. That was my response. Okay, force it. Okay. What did that mean? I split my days up. Back, legs, chest, day off. Back, legs, chest, day off. Work out 6 days a week, right? Back, legs, back, legs, chest, back, legs, chest. And I do things, um, my shoulders and stuff throughout that. Force it by activating those hamstrings every single fucking time I work out. You know how tiring that is, how exhausting. I could barely walk today. I could barely walk today. And here's the thing, that's evidence of me working on what needs to be worked on. It was something that I had neglected for quite some time. That's what I get. That's a consequence of that. When you neglect certain aspects of you that you're trying to develop because you think it's insignificant, when you finally realize that you're not developing as a whole being in a balanced way, you're going to have to work harder to develop what you completely ignored. It's not punishment. I'm not being punished. I'm feeling a very tangible experience of what happens when I don't love myself in my totality. I can't just work on one thing or two things. I have to work on the whole thing. If you allow yourself to recognize the forcing yourself is simply placing your focus on the thing that needs more of your focus, well, then you'll experience exponential growth without even realizing. I can't see my hamstrings. I can't. Even if I look in the mirror, I can't bend in that way to look at my hamstrings. You know how I realized my hamstrings just fucking exploded? I was recording myself doing some type of core work on a bench. And when I went to rewatch the video doing the core work, I was like, holy shit, that's ham meat hanging off the back of my leg. Holy damn. I did it. I mean, I still have a long way to go. But the fact that I forced it by simply loving on it more, because I wasn't just forcing myself to do the exercise. When I was doing the exercise, I kept my hand on the very leg that I was working, work one leg at a time. And I'm connecting with that muscle as I lift. It's about learning to connect with yourself again. Everything that's happening in the world right now is intended to cause you to disconnect, to dissociate, to avoid whatever it is that's difficult for you to process. You will never reach the truth of your power if you continue allowing that program to be how you live. That's not organic to you. That's a psychological mechanism that you were taught to utilize, either by the people in your environment or by the shows that you watched. It's something that was learned. It's not natural to you. It's not. It is not natural to you. And if you continue to identify as something that you're not, because of your choice, you end up living that. You manifest that into your destiny. It's a manifest destiny. You're making it happen. That's how powerful you are. That is how powerful you are over your journey. With awareness of that and the awareness that there are ancient things that are being awoken in order to pull energy from you, the very energy that you need to further your ascension mechanics. You need to be bold and make the first move. Be bold. Make the first move. Make a decision. What direction do you want to go with your life, with your journey, with your growth, with your healing? What direction do you want to go? Choose that direction, stick with it, commit to it, take it all the way, all the way, take it all the way. And then what will happen? Whatever you set out to make happen, that's what will happen. It's time to release negativity, your disbelief in yourself, your disbelief in your process, your disbelief in your validity. It needs to stop. Your willingness to listen to and take in as truth the words of people who know nothing about you. Yeah, that has to stop. That has to stop. It has to. Why? Do you want me to be blunt? Because I think I need to be blunt. Why does it need to stop? Because I'm sick and tired of seeing you hurting yourself in that way. I'm sick and tired of waiting for you to realize you're just as strong as me. So you need to get your ass beside me so we can start making the changes that need to occur. So other people will feel emboldened and empowered to the degree that they choose to change the world too. The world will not change by one person, two, or three. It will not change by one group, one region, one nation. It will change when all of us get to the point where we are sick and tired of playing these limited characters that were never representative of our actuality. So you wanted to know why? I told you why. I'm sick and tired of waiting for you to step into your actual purpose. But I'll keep waiting. However long it takes, I guess I'll keep waiting. And this is why I don't think I'm better than anyone else. The world will not be changed by one person. The world will be changed when the people in it choose to change themselves and the way they function within that world. There was never going to be another Messiah who comes. There was never going to be one. Yeshua is an emissary of a banding of consciousness. They took his work and they bastardized it. He was an adept, trained in Kemet. He did not disappear. He was brought to Kem by his parents and trained from a very young age. He is not an initiate. He was a full-blown adept. And then he returned and lived in accordance with Nazarene Essene teachings. People say that he said the only way to the Father is through him. You need to find out what the Nazarene Essenes believe. There is no intercessor between you and the fullness of Pleroma. Pleroma is the wholeness of Creator. All these things, all of these things that we've taken in as truth, and I have been indoctrinated into the Catholic faith, baptized and confirmed, theology classes for my entire childhood, graduating from a Catholic high school. Shit, at one point in my adolescence, my dream was to become a Carmelite nun. So, what do we need to do? Well, we need to disengage. Exactly, Aunt Shell, this, this. He wasn't the way, he lived it. He lived it. It was through the witnessing of his life that other people's lives were changed. We all are messiahs in that sense. Are we God? Spiritual people will say, you are God. You are a fragment of God. You are not God. You are a fragment, divine and sacred. Start tapping into that. Start allowing yourself to begin to recognize the actuality of your gravity, the actuality of your purpose, right? Stop looking at other people and thinking, I wish I was like that. I wish I could do that. I wish I had those abilities. How about you get to know yourself and begin to love how you were created? Begin to heal the relationship between the self and the soul. Allow yourself to recognize your gifts are for you. And whatever you develop in excess of what you need can then be shared and gifted to others. That is the beauty of the gift that you are. First, it must go to sustain you, to replenish you, to heal you, to recenter you. And whatever extra you have over, share it in whatever way you choose, whatever way resonates with you. Don't let pride get in your way. It's in reverse. That means what? Pride has been creating tremendous amounts of distortion in the way you see yourself. It's accelerating molecular compaction. You notice after a certain generation, the people who are in the newer generations, they are aging rapidly. Rapid aging. The things they're being exposed to is creating a lot of dissonant frequency within their auric fields. It's accelerating the molecular compaction and it's causing a rapid increase in the rate of aging. If we allow ourselves to begin really, really just stillness, what am I here to feel right now? Yes, there's craziness in the world. Yes, there's demonic shit being set loose. Yes, there are ancient things coming into play. Stillness. All of those things will be made clear to you. What parts you need to learn more about, what parts are just, you need to be aware, you're aware, let it go. If you allow yourself to sit in stillness, you'll begin to remember where your point of center is. You'll begin to realize you are the most powerful creator in your experience. And everyone else in your environment simply serves to facilitate what is being co created with you. We don't have to be afraid of anything, but we don't have to villainize fear either. We don't. Aging in the mind, not just the mind. The mind is a biomechanical machine. And the purpose of the mind is to reprogram the standing scalar waves that then translate into your in real life experience. So the mind doesn't just age, the body does as well. You can think disease into full fruition, or you can use your mind to resolve and completely remove disease states in the physical. I've done this many times for myself, for other people. The mind is extremely powerful. That's why they go for your mind constantly, altering the way you see yourself, altering the way you see your place with other people, trying to encourage you to exist in a state of martyrdom, sacrificing yourself for all of these different things that really that none of that was any of your business to get involved in, right? Because you're going to save someone. Save someone from what? The very process that they must go through to learn about themselves, their power, retrieve their gifts, and live their purpose. Wow. How godly of you. Yeah. The mind is a very powerful thing. Very, very powerful thing. I'll give you an example. Um, this was what, 2011, somewhere there. I was pregnant. It was my very first prenatal appointment. And for those who don't know, for your very first prenatal appointment, when you first find out you're pregnant, and I usually find out very early in the pregnancy, I usually am aware either at the time of conception or within a week or two of conceiving. But at your first prenatal appointment, they do a pelvic exam. They put your legs on stirrups, and then they use a little quack quack machine thingy, and they spread them. And the doctor does a visual inspection and then checks whatever else, does a pap smear, this, typical stuff. So I'm pregnant somewhere along that time, quite a few years ago, and the doctor puts the speculum in, spread them, and she looks and she's about to do a pap smear, and she's like, "You have a tumor on your cervix." At which point I was laying staring at the ceiling. I was like, "What?" Yeah, I had a tumor on my cervix in my early pregnancy, size of my thumb, just dangling on my cervix. I know it's funny now. And she's like, "We need to immediately biopsy this. We need to make sure it's not a highly aggressive cancer, yada, yada, yada." And I was like, "No." And she's like, "What?" No. I experience preterm labor just from you doing the pap smear. You are not biopsying anything. I will lose the baby. And she was really upset with my decision. So that's like what, month one of my pregnancy? You're pregnant for about 10 months. Every single appointment that I went to, and I had a high risk pregnancy. I was considered a grand multip. I'm a breeder. That's basically what that means. I'm old and I keep breeding. I have a lot of kids. So every single appointment, and I had way more than the average person, she was trying to convince me to biopsy it, to cut it off. And I'm like, "I will miscarry this baby. Stop. When I give birth, you can chop up my cervix all you want. Okay. I'll let you take however many samples you want." And so, fast forward to my actual labor and delivery. I'm in labor, and the doctor checks me. It's a different doctor because my doctor was off shift. And the doctor says, "Are you aware that you have a tumor on your cervix?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, and you're speaking to your doctor about this?" "Yeah." "Yes, she's aware." So he's like, "Okay, so I'll let you guys handle that." So it's confirmed right before I give birth, I still have a thumb sized tumor on my cervix. I give birth maybe an hour later. 2 weeks later is my first postnatal appointment. In a 2 week period, did not change my diet, did not take any medications, did not take some RSO, Phoenix tear, whatever you want to call it, did not do the devil's lettuce, nothing, just my brain. And I said, no, I will not die. I will not get sick. No, I will not agree to any of that. What did you know? Postnatal appointment 2 weeks after I give birth, right? It's confirmed right before I gave birth, it was there. 2 weeks after, I go in, my doctor's like tripping off me again, like, girl, calm the fuck down. Do whatever you want to my cervix at this point. The baby's here. The baby's here. You go ahead, biopsy it. She starts the pap smear, the pelvic exam, and she's like, it's gone. I'm like, oh, that's good. She's like, did you do something? No. I mean, you want it gone, right? Like this lady irritating me. She was tripping my whole pregnancy, and I have had to kept like talking her down and calming her down every appointment. And so she's like, well, maybe it fell off during labor or something. And I was like, hey, nobody saw no thumb in my placenta. So I don't know, whatever you say, if it's not there, it's not there. And she asked to take biopsies of multiple areas of my cervix. I said, go ahead, go right ahead. She's expecting to find cancerous cells, at the very least, high grade dysplasia, abnormal cells that are precancerous. Since I had a growth, nothing, not a single thing. My entire cervix, all healthy cells. And she's like, what did you do different? Did you do cannabis? Did you do this? No, I just refused to agree to die. I refuse to get sick. I have a lot of kids. I'm a stay at home mom. My kids need me. The mind is so powerful. Whatever you believe and wholeheartedly believe, that that's what becomes your reality. That is what becomes your reality. And it's not just me. Yeah, my brother was dying. End stage heart failure, 7% ejection fraction rate for his heart. He literally was dying. He was waiting for a heart transplant. Gone. Heart completely regenerated itself. Absolutely no evidence of heart failure. Why? He refused to believe he was dying. He kept like, I'm just slowly healing. I'm like, bro, if you say so. I'm not gonna burst your bubble. Like, I'm just gonna try and be a loving sister. I'm not gonna burst your bubble. You're slowly healing. Okay. Okay, I get it. And boy, oh boy, was he right. When he allowed the process that released the negativity that was being housed in his heart, and then I assisted, fixed. Fixed. Out of nowhere. His doctors didn't even know what to make of it. Never seen anything like it. Never saw anything like it. They kept him on as a patient for 6 months just to observe because they couldn't figure it out. Because his sister's a badass. But hey, the mindset is extremely powerful. Communication is key. Your soul is communicating with you something very, very important right now. And I think what's being communicated is causing a lot of cognitive dissonance to erupt. A lot of this, like, fear of what you're going to find, a lot of encouragement from soul, an invitation from soul to do shadow work, to delve into your shadow spaces. Your most potent abilities are deep in that shadow. Why? Because part of our natural instinct as humans, our survival instinct, is a fear of darkness. So soul was like, okay, we're gonna put all the good stuff in the shadow. Excuse me, because we know the little earth monkey part of you. We earth monkeys, you know that, right? Earth monkey and big headed astronaut. That's where we come from. So the part of you that's human, naturally afraid of the dark, until you reach a level of maturity that causes you to no longer be afraid of the dark, the shadow, you won't enter into that. It's a fail safe. I'm telling you right now, you're ready. You're ready to enter into your shadow spaces and to work through your fears of what you will find. You are not evil. You're not evil. You're not evil. You're just a person who, to some degree, knows how powerful you are. And it scares the shit out of you because you're afraid you'll hurt someone. You're afraid, what if I lose control? How are you going to lose control when you're so paranoid about losing control? You see, I say this as someone who refused to acknowledge the gravity of my gifts. I hid it away for so long. I've done this work my whole life, even as a child, but I'd never let other people know. The only way, up until 2017, the only way that you could get me to work on you, two things. Someone that I love and trust deeply tells me you need help, and then you come to me. And two, promise me that you will never tell anyone what I did for you. You can share with people your experience, but you have to promise to never tell anyone who I am or how to find me. Why? Because I was afraid. What if I lose control? What if I hurt somebody? What if I'm not really doing what I think I'm doing and I'm hurting people instead? You know how many people I could have helped in the years that I was hidden? I've had these abilities at this level for a very long time. A very long time. Yet it's only since 2017 that I've slowly begun allowing people to see me, publicly see me doing the work that I do. I've never harmed anyone. I've never lost control and harmed anyone. I have issued heavy handed corrections for people who want to fuck around and find out, trying to hurt people on my live stream thinking I won't notice. Absolutely. I will never deny that. Absolutely. I'll go to war for my fucking community. You don't even have to ask me, baby boo. I feel someone fucking with you while I'm on here, you're sharing space with me. There's a fucking consequence for that shit. Have I harmed anyone? No, I have not. No. Back in 2017, I had someone go to someone else and they convinced that other person to do some type of dark magic on me to cause a heart attack. They were literally trying to kill me. I felt it. I allowed it. Why? I was afraid of losing control. So I allowed it. To this day, I still haven't retaliated, nor have I forgotten. Haven't forgotten. But I haven't retaliated either. Why? Because you guys, people like us who are so afraid of what if I lose control and hurt someone, it is not in our nature to harm people. We're capable. Don't get that shit twisted. We're capable. It's just not in our nature. That's not who we are. That's not how we are. Trust yourself a little, please. Give yourself a little bit more credit than what you're doing right now. You would never harm anyone. Accidentally, intentionally, you would not harm anyone. It's the people, it's the people who are the most interested in making these huge displays of power. Those are the people they're gonna fuck people up, and they're not even gonna take accountability for it. They'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll do all these different things, right? I had this one person who was claiming that this individual who I know they can't be extracted. That's my fucking specialty. Are you kidding me? I own the trademark for parasitic extraction. That's my fucking specialty. Churches come to me when they can't remove the demon. I remove it. This person, you can't remove that shit. It's not a demon. It's a symbiote. It's fully fucking merged. Yeah, remove that shit. At this individual. I removed it easy. Lying ass hoe. Fucking lies. Lies. That's a fucking lie. Those are the types of mindset that harm others. You, you won't hurt nobody. Listen, if you had it in you to intentionally harm people, you wouldn't be drawn to me. You wouldn't. I don't do these grand gestures of power. I don't showboat. You'd be bored with me. You would say, this girl's weak. Why? Because I don't use my power and abilities to dominate others. Are you drawn to me? Do you feel like you know me? Do I feel like home to you, even if you just found me today? If you're nodding yes to those, that means you and I are very similar. That means just like me, you would never hurt someone. Not intentionally, probably not even accidentally, to be honest. You would be excessively careful. You would be paranoid about the risk. Trust yourself. There are people waiting for you to emerge from the closet you've hidden yourself in just because you're afraid of how powerful you actually are. The end of a tough cycle approaches. It will not end until you choose it to end. until you command your life to work in a different way. It will not end. Have faith in your dreams. Have faith in your dreams. I have this theory, and it's just a theory. There's no way for me to really prove it. I don't even care. I'm going to share it anyways. My theory is that our dreams are nothing but snippets of reminders of what we are here to accomplish, what we might potentially experience in order to reach that level of accomplishment. And it's kind of just our soul letting us know, like, hey, girl, don't lose focus. Don't lose focus. You have to do this, this, and this still. Yep. Revolution. The revolution that takes place, because there's going to be a revolution that takes place, it's not a political one, it's not an external one, it's inside. You are going to need to find the courage to rebel against the programs that have been running primary in your life. Programs that are designed to cause you to choose to remain in an existence that is too small for the purpose that you were born to fulfill. Center. Allow yourself to get centered into the reality of the fact that you are a gift first unto self and then unto others. Whatever gift you have in excess, you can then share with others. Okay? Ooh, you're receiving messages, information, guidance down to the core, but you're not listening. So it's getting trapped there. You're getting all congested deep within the self, right? Hold on. Sorry. My bad. Okay. Let me behave myself. Let me behave myself for a second there. All right. So, preservation. It's in reverse. You can exit out of that space of simply trying to survive. We have social media, armchair psychologists, spiritual folks trying to convince us like it's some type of badge of honor to be a survivor. That's a bare minimum. I don't know about y'all. I survived a lot of things in my life. And after I survived each and every time, I went ahead and I reminded myself I'm a motherfucking thriver. I am here to thrive. And whatever pain that I experience, whatever anger that I feel at the unfairness, at the injustice, that will serve as a fuel for my rise. So, bitches, if you don't want to see me rise, you need to leave me the fuck alone because everything you do that's designed to destroy me is the very thing that causes me to rise. I'm going to keep thriving with or without their permission. Because guess what? The only thing I needed permission from co signed me into existence. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not a survivor. Yes, I've survived a lot in life. I'm a motherfucking thriver. Every hardship that I face is used as a plank on the bridge I'm building. Where's the bridge going to take me? Onto the other side of my fear. Over the blockages. Hmm. Yes. Oh, and guess what? After that bridge is built, and it's been built several times in my life, after that bridge is built and I walk across it, onto the other side of my fear, I go ahead, I turn around and I burn that bridge. So none of my toxicity, none of my fears, none of my traumas and dramas can follow me onto the other side. Yep. Yep. It's time for you to enter into a space of renewal. Allow yourself to be replenished and renewed. Your soul has something so beautiful planned for you. And yes, this reading is not for everyone. For the people who this message is not for, they're not on this live stream. They won't watch this video. So you don't got to worry about that. They're not your problem. This message is for you because you're here. Yeah, that's how it works. One of the things that I realize about myself and my existence, an intrinsic part of my purpose, all I have to do is show up and blah, 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 just blab my little opinions away. Sit here and just talk, share my opinions, share my mindset with no expectations of how people will receive it, what they'll do with it. It's kind of just like, I'm just talking. And you know what I realized? What holds hands with that part of my purpose is another purpose. And what is that? You will not cross my path until you're ready for exponential growth, healing, and change. That's the only time you cross my path. How did you find me? Am I suddenly and very weirdly touching on every single profound thought you've been having lately? And you're like, holy shit, it's like she's doing a personal reading. I'm not. It feels like it. Why? Because your soul brought you here so that I could confirm those things for you without even knowing you needed confirmation. I am not the messenger. I am nothing but a confirming agent, a tool of your soul. People don't cross my path. People don't find me until they are ready. Ready for what? Ready to choose themselves, ready to heal and love themselves. I'm not interested in being your guru. You know, it was so weird. Years ago, I had this one person who was literally begging, please be my guru. And I was like, stop, stop. Because it was, you're weirding me out. Stop. And they were like, I'll pay you. I'll pay you. Stop, for real. I'm about to block you if you don't stop. Can you just like be in my community? Can you just like, you know, be present when you feel like being present? Like, stop with that. That's fucking weird. What the fuck? You're weirding me out. I'm very like social anxiety. What the fuck? It's giving me chest pain right now. I'm feeling the anxiety again. We were on video chat. And I was like, you're weirding me out. Felt tightness in the chest and everything. Like, stop. We're just people having a conversation. Calm down. You find me when you're ready to receive consistent confirmation that you are who you've always been, who you need to be, that there's nothing wrong with you. You're simply in the process of shedding all the programs, all the characters that you've played, all of these things that you've done to appease the people who were never interested in the reality of you. They were interested in how your existence could be of benefit to them. I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm saying they're toxic for you. I'm saying their effect on you has been grievous. And it's time to stop. It doesn't matter what title they have in your life. It's time to stop. Some people, you can simply just stop participating in those cycles. Other people, you need to completely remove their access to you, at least for a time. I don't know what the answer is for you. And I don't think anyone can answer that but you. I think you need to begin realizing whatever you choose to do, it could be the very thing that encourages the person involved to begin a cycle of introspection, accountability, and hopefully initiating their own self healing. I've had family that I've disappeared from for years at a time. And it wasn't to punish, it was for me to be able to have my space to begin gaining clarity about who I am and what I'm really here for. And we've reconnected, and some family, they've seen the change in me, and that's inspired them to create changes within themselves. And we've rebonded, and we talk, and it's beautiful and it's healthy. No more of those old cycles. And then I also have other family who, you think you're better. Yeah, I'm better than the version of me that you want me to be. So if that's who you want, fucking kick rocks. I still love you. You're still family, but we're not speaking anymore. Oh, because you're punishing me? No, I think you're punishing yourself. I'm at a place that has room for you, but not the current you. The version of you that you will become when you heal and no longer want to keep doing these bullshit cycles. So there's space, but I won't hold your seat because I respect the potential of you deciding to never sit beside me again. But I won't apologize for no longer being an empty shell of who I actually am, just to make you comfortable with your awareness that you are living mediocrity. And it's not that I want to be better than other people. It's that I deserve to know the version of myself that I was designed to be in order to live my purpose. I deserve to know her, just like you deserve to know that version of you. Never choose to do things to punish other people, because then you don't get the true gift that comes in that process. You don't receive that. When you focus on what you need and how this need is instructing you to pivot within your life, you're not becoming another person. You're shedding the character that you've played, and you're simply becoming more aware of who you've been this entire time. This entire time. You are not broken, and you've never been. Yes, life has had a way of making you feel at certain points that you're being broken, the pain, the confusion. I'm telling you right now, you are not broken down when you felt that. You, as a highly sensitive empath, felt the pain of being broken open. People don't realize because no one's ever bothered to ask. Is it painful to go from a caterpillar to a butterfly? Does it hurt as you go through that metamorphosis? Because it said that the caterpillar liquefies itself inside the chrysalis before it emerges as a completely different form. It can never return back to the state of caterpillar. So maybe the problem is that as we go through that transformation and become butterfly people, we cease to be able to speak caterpillar language because we're completely different. You see, caterpillars have mouth a mouth that's designed to cut and eat leaves, whereas a butterfly is designed with a proboscis, proboscis, a straw of a mouth to drink the sweet nectar of life, unlimited in how far it can travel. And when that happens, we, the butterfly people, forget to leave messages for the rest of the caterpillars. Hey, it's painful. You'll be completely fucking destroyed. At least that's what it feels like. And then when you're done being destroyed and you're rebuilt, you're going to go through another pain. And you're going to be forced out of the one thing that's held you together and made you feel comfortable in your destruction. And then you'll have a different way of existing, and it won't make sense because it's like their wings need time to dry. The fluids need to be spread out. Their abdomen is extremely swollen, and their wings are very shriveled, like shriveled leaves, right? And you leave that caterpillar for a time, and it just keeps flapping its wings. And maybe for people who don't understand and they're witnessing this process, they're like, oh my God, maybe you're injured. Oh my God, your wings are deformed. And if that butterfly listened to those people, it would never take flight because it would be convinced, I'm broken. Unless, of course, you come across a person who knows exactly the process you're in. No, babe, you're fluffing up your wings. Give it a couple minutes, maybe a couple hours. I don't know. Just keep flapping the fucking wings. Sit there, rest. You're all good. There's no rush. You're fine. Are you sure? Babe, you're fine. You're not broken. You're not deformed. You're fine. Give it some time. You'll see. And then, of course, you give it some time because you have this hope that maybe this stranger knows what they're talking about, because the other option is to believe that all your dreams will never come true. And so you cling to that hope and the words of a stranger, and you give yourself time, and then you realize, oh, I wasn't broken or deformed. I was just impatient with a process that I've never experienced before. Therefore, I had no clue, no benchmark of how this is supposed to go and what to expect. That's your spiritual evolution right there. You go through that transformation and enter into a chrysalis multiple times through your life. People in spiritual communities will tell you, I've had my awakening, I've had my ascension, I'm woke. Well, good. Do you only wake up one day out of your entire life? Every night you go to sleep, and every morning you wake back up. Welcome to the part where you're now aware of this continuous cycle that will go on for the rest of your life. There's no singular moment. It just continues, opportunities to grow, opportunities to expand your awareness of your true potential and purpose. Don't sell yourself short. Soul journey. If all you've ever sailed on is a tiny little inland sea, you'll never know the vastness of the oceans. You must allow yourself to explore. Have you guys heard that at one point in our history as humans, um, our ancestors believed that if you sailed too far, you'll fall off the face of the earth? Right? I mean, has anyone yet? No? No. Do we even know what's in the oceans? I think it's something like a single digit percentage of the oceans have been explored, right? And it's the same thing with your purpose and your capability. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There will be plenty of people who will read all kinds of information online. They will watch documentaries about the ocean. But what do they really know? The same limited information that's been passed around for how long? What if I told you you are a mer person, merman, mermaid, and you can go deep without fear of drowning? The oceans are your birth water. Dive deep, explore the trenches, find your personal power, find your inspiration inside of yourself, and then live your purpose. It's very easy to do, but it's very hard to give yourself permission to do it. Once you give yourself permission, I mean, you just keep right on. You won't be scared anymore. You might experience a little bit of uncertainty, but you're like, listen, I've been doing this for how long? And it's fine. It's fine. It's going to be okay. Growth in reverse. Something's trying to prevent your growth, right? We talked about those ancients that are coming forward. Energy siphon. Don't allow it. Do not allow it. Allow your intuition to guide you as to how you will build yourself up, how you will um, lay the foundation for what you're building for yourself, and how you'll navigate through the process. Ancestral magic and shadow work. If you do your shadow work, you will regain access to your ancestral magic. So, someone had asked on TikTok earlier, what is my channel about? What gifts do I have? Like, what is it that I do? Everything. Literally everything. So one of my some of my most highly developed gifts involve biospiritual scans. With that, I can fragment a portion of my consciousness, project it into your space, and be able to view you on the level of an X-ray, ultrasound, CT scan, MRI, even subatomic level if need be. Subatomic level. How did I develop that? I was born with it. I teach people how to develop that within themselves, to be able to see in that way without having ever met someone. Like, I don't have to meet you. I don't have to know what you look like. I don't even have to know your name or what your voice sounds like. All I have to have is an awareness that you exist, and I can scan you. Mhm. But I'm not a creepy stalker, so I don't do that to people without their permission. So, how did I get that? Well, when I did the shadow work, I went through a round of shadow work in order to address some of my earlier life traumas. It wasn't something I chose, it was something that I had to just deal with. And as a byproduct of that, specific pathways opened up within my auric field and template. And guess what? My ancestors are extremely magical. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, my mom's mom, she had the ability to bioscan and bilocate. Her father had bilocation abilities as well. The fragmenting and projecting a portion of my consciousness, a small portion, that's called bilocation. My family didn't know that that's what that was. They just knew that our grandmother is a healer. So this is something I've shared before. My cousin and I, we went to the same middle school or elementary middle school. And that middle school, at certain time of the year, the entire school takes a field trip to the roller skating rink. It's a very small school. It's a private school. So we're at the roller skating rink and everyone's, roller skating. We're kids. And my cousin fell and she broke her fall with her arm like that, right? And it was starting to swell and it was super painful. So my aunt and uncle, they bring my cousin to our grandma because they wanted her to do some healing massage, to kind of just address the swelling and the pain. And my grandma puts her hands on it and she's massaging it and she's like, "It's broken. You need to take her to the hospital." My whole family is all medical people. They're all medical professionals, licensed medical professionals. I'm the only one that didn't go that route. And they were like, "It's not broken. It's just sprained. It's just bruised." And my grandma's like, "No, it's broken. It's fractured." They get an x ray. That shit was a hairline fracture. How did she know? Because it was a gift unto her from her own ancestors. When I say I come from a magical bloodline, my grandmother's mother, my great grandmother, her eyes were violet. Some people believe, and the only other person I've ever heard of having violet eyes is Elizabeth Taylor. But some people I've seen, they believe that those who have violet eyes are descendants of Lemuria. I don't know. Maybe I'm a direct biological descendant. Who knows? All I know is I have a very specific skill set that is highly beneficial to other people. I can detect disease much earlier than medical diagnostics. Yeah. And it's this thing where it's like, I'm not a licensed doctor, and I'll tell people that, but I'll also tell you what you need to talk to your doctor about and tests that you need to ask for, supplements, that natural supplements that you can discuss with your doctor so you can begin um, a more successful treatment plan. There's too many people to count. Um, Documented, we're starting to approach that 13,000 mark. We're somewhere halfway in the 12,000 clients. Those are documented clients. This doesn't include the people who I had that stipulation. You don't ever tell anyone who I am. Don't ever tell anyone who I am and what I did for you. It doesn't include those people. So, this is a thing where your ancestors are gifting you with so much. And just because you don't know what they're gifting you with doesn't mean that you're not going to receive that gift. Yep. Is bilocation like remote viewing? Remote viewing is a form of bilocation. So typically with remote viewing, you're bilocating and geographically viewing. So because I have highly developed bilocation abilities, I can also remote view. But again, that's peeping Tom stuff. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's peeping Tom. But if you learn how to calibrate it in a very specific manner, you can then use it as a medical diagnostic tool. Mhm. Yeah. So, because I've calibrated and refined that capacity, that ability to a very high degree of accuracy, um, I can detect things that, again, allopathic medicine, they can't quite detect it yet. Yeah. It's not, I don't know, some people might think it's super cool, but to me, it's just, it's not really that cool because it's like, but you're still sick. And I'm able to um, repattern the standing scalar waves in order to begin resolving or completely resolve physiological disease. But I still have a lot of hesitation and disbelief and that gets in the way. And so, you know, I'm able to help a lot, but I'd like to be much more efficient than I already am. Yeah. That's so cool. Is that a gift anyone can learn or has to be a part of your soul history? I can teach anyone. Um, I can absolutely teach anyone how to cultivate this. Mm. Mm. I've done these things, but not on the regular. I have an aversion to having others teach me. That could mean quite a few different things. Quite a few different things. Trauma from past life. It could mean that you're not to be tainted. I don't have anyone teach me either. But I'm open to being taught. The reasoning for me, it's not an aversion to people teaching me. I love people teaching me. The reasoning for me is that if their source of information is not intact, it's been corrupted, convoluted in some way at some point when that information was released, it cannot be allowed to integrate into my template and taint my information. So I get my information directly from source. Yep. I absolutely agree with that. It often feels like some people are just throwing things they have no actual knowledge of. Yeah, I fucking absolutely agree with that. They'll find information from someone else or somewhere else. They won't give that person or that source credit, and they'll try and pass it off as their own information. The only problem there is that they don't fully understand the content. So they're making these assumptions and this and that, and people, because it sounds cool, they're using vernacular that is new. People will eat that up. Like, for example, I am highly, highly medically inclined. Like, I can have a very intense conversation with medical professionals who are specialized in specific fields. Example, my mother was in and out of the hospital, and I was the basically like the go to person for the family. And one specialist wanted to do a procedure, and I was like, how does that procedure change the proposed treatment plan? And it doesn't. And I'm like, okay, but now you're exposing her to things that are affecting a different organ system. We need to bring in that doctor and consult with him. And then I was able to make the decision that all the doctors were like, you're fucking right. And they all think I'm a doctor. I'm not. I'm like, no, I'm a stay at home mom. They all think that I'm board certified in something. It's like, no, I'm a stay at home mom. And even with my extreme medical geeking, I fucking, yeah, I will geek off of medical information. Even with that, I run a certification program. I do not teach that. Why? I just explained this to my class, my certification program yesterday. We had class, and I was like, you guys need to begin, kind of learning these things. I can't teach it. I don't feel it's appropriate for me to teach it because I'm not licensed in that field of medicine. I understand it deeply and I'm very accurate with these things, but I'm not licensed to teach this medical information. You know what I mean? If there's any component of that that I did not learn properly, I'm now teaching you that mistake and you will harm your client. Hell no. Not a lot of people have that logic. They don't have that level of integrity, transparency, and honesty. There's far too many people who are desperate to prove to others they have some value. It's like, babe, you were born with that value. Stop wasting your time trying to prove things. Just be you. Enjoy what you enjoy. Share what you're called to share. Stop playing a character. Stop talking about things you don't even understand. People don't have that logic, you know? They don't have. I just signed up for an anatomy and physiology class. Where? Where? Did you do edX? You guys, edX, you can audit Ivy League colleges. And for like $50, you could get a certificate that you completed it, earn credit. So I've been super busy, but the last class that I audited was through Was it Harvard? I think it was Harvard, and it was neurobiology or something like that. Oh, I loved it. You can teach. They teach you about all kind of different things, and it's not just medical. So Harvard, Stanford, MIT, all of those colleges, they'll allow you to audit the class, meaning you're getting the same content as someone who's taking their online course and registered at their college for fucking free. I'm serious. It's fucking free. edX. Hold on. Let me get the link. Look, I'm going to show you guys. edX makes me so fucking excited. It does. It makes me so fucking excited because, yo, it's free. It's completely for free. Look at this. I'm going to show y'all. I be telling people all kind of stuff about edX. I've learned so much shit off edX. It's ridiculous. Okay, so here's edX, right? Look, MIT, Harvard, UC Berkeley, Boston University, all kind of different colleges, right? Let's see. You could do executive education, boot camps, master degrees, bachelor degrees, certificates. Uh, Oxford Artificial Intelligence Program. You could do MBA stuff. Like, hold on. Let's go into like biology. No, anatomy. Oh my God. Basic anatomy, musculoskeletal cases, medical terminology. Bitch. Okay. Woo. What? Oh my God. Let's see. This is through, I love the Harvard X programs. I think I've taken all of them at this point. So 7 weeks, 3 to 6 hours per week. It's self-paced. You can earn a certificate. Again, I think it's like $50 and then you can earn it. It started on January 6th. You have access until June 18th. You can audit the course. Auditing the course is completely for free. You can learn all of this. Now, I have learned all of these things. I've learned quite a bit from edX, but does that qualify me to present myself as a professor of medical information? No, the fuck it don't. No, the fuck it don't. See, so um, you guys have to be very, very discerning about what you allow yourself to be exposed to. You're preparing for level two. Level two is going to be so information dense on fascia and all kind of different things. Girl, Soul been telling me all kind of stuff. Um, I don't have my book here. I have all these different books that I've just been really geeking off of for like weeks now. Weeks just fixated on all of this different medical information that I'm integrating into the aura spectra bioregenesis program that I teach. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with me, I teach aura spectra bioregenesis, and the program is called K33, Kokoro 33. Aura spectra bioregenesis is my awareness from multiple lifetimes, and I've integrated several different modalities into one singular modality. So, part of my history, I've been involved in quite a few different wars, human as well as galactic, and I'm an extremely efficient warrior. In order to be an extremely efficient warrior, you have to know anatomy, physiology. It makes you that much more deadly. In order to be a warrior who survives the battle, you need to know not just how to destroy the anatomy in an efficient way, but how to rebuild it. So I use that information and I'm able to apply it in such a way where I can affect change on a subatomic molecular level as well as an etheric level that then translates and often will fully resolve. I can't claim the H word healing because people go bonkers. It will fully resolve the symptom presentations that actually are rooted in an etheric, energetic circumstance. You correct that, everything falls in line. Yep. And it's easy too. It's very, very easy. You get comfortable, it becomes second nature. There's no prerequisites. You just be open to the learning. I'll show exactly how to use your energy in the way you excel. This is not about memorizing stuff. This is about mastering the concepts so that no matter what circumstance you're faced with, and I'm not there anymore, whatever you're facing with your client privately, you can handle that shit. hmm I teach my students to be formidable as fuck, even at level one. I'm so fucking proud of them. Yes, I'm so proud of my students. Oh my god. Let's see. Uh, oh, I gotta go, you guys. Oh my god, I didn't realize about the time. Um, is there a word for being this excited about learning? I don't know. I know the word sapiosexual, but that's like excited in a different way. You're attracted to intelligence. I don't know if it's just excitement for learning. It's more of like being turned on. So I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah. Hold on. Let I'm being told to scroll up for I don't know what. Mm, you guys should go to edX. Go look for whatever topic you want, and yeah, learn for free. Self enrichment. Um, what are you asking me to look for? Um, I don't know what I'm being told to look for. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say I gotta go, guys. If you guys want to know more about what I teach, what I do, the types of sessions I have, all of the different platforms that I have, because I'm on quite a few platforms, just go to my Hubi link in my bio on TikTok. For those of you on all the other platforms, I believe I'm live on like 8 platforms right now. I don't know where the link is. I don't know where the link is. Hold on, let me add it. Ugh, excuse me. I'll go find it for you guys. Michael goes, "You're so dramatic." I know. I know. You act like you don't know me. Where is it? Mm, okay. So, where is it? Oh my gosh, did I completely delete it? Oh, here it is. But I need to use a different picture. Okay. Let me. There's no more Black Friday, okay? There's no more Black Friday. All right. We don't need a picture. We just have the link. So for everyone else outside of TikTok, oh, well, it kept the picture. Oh, no, it took it off. So either click on this QR code or the link in the comment. It'll take you to my Hubi link, and that will give you access to all things Emmy. All things Emmy. You'll be able to see my academy. I do have a weekly membership as well. The weekly membership, we go over all sorts of different content that will help you to prepare for whatever's coming next. It will help you to make better sense of what you're experiencing. And it's really a way for you to continue learning how to work on yourself. It's not for working on other people. If you're interested in working on other people, then you would need to look for the certification program. My certification program is a 40-hour program that's designed to help you not just learn how to work energy or a spectrobioregenesis in such a way that can affect tremendous beneficial change for your client. I also help to guide you on how to navigate having an online business and online presence. It's definitely it's a thing. So, if that's something that interests you or you just want to know more about what it is I do, click on this QR code, the link in the comment, and those on TikTok, click on the link in my bio. It takes you exactly to the same link, and you'll be able to see all the things that I do. I'm going to get going because first and foremost, I need to eat. I need to eat. Let's see. Is Coco 33 only for energy healing or can it be applied to other forms of helping others? The certification program, I teach how to help the whole being. So um it's not just you trying to address medical symptoms, right? It's also you learning how to properly support someone as they go through an emotional process, some type of ascension mechanics. For people who've never had a session with me, my sessions, and it really doesn't matter which one you get, I address you as a whole being, a whole being. So, whatever is happening, whatever your soul is asking me to address, that's what we address. That's what we talk about. And then also, I do whatever it is you paid for. But that's the thing that I teach my students. You have to do what the soul is asking you to do to support the person in the way that empowers them the most. It's not up to us to decide what is best for the person. It is up to us as facilitators to simply assist, to facilitate a process the soul is deciding is appropriate. And this is far, far, far different than all the other systems and energetic modalities that are out there. Because the way I teach my students, we go down to the core codes and we correct that. And we allow everything to kind of just filter through and have the appropriate effects that the soul wants. It always honors the person's sovereignty. Okay. So, guys, I'm really going to get going. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your day. Oh, I'm going to go live tomorrow. I'll put the link on Hubi later after I eat, but I'll be doing expedites tomorrow. If you wanted a bioscan and all sorts of other energy work that I have available, etheric quantum medicine work, click on the Hubi link, the link in my bio on TikTok. Click on that and just wait for me to post the um, expedite link for tomorrow. So tomorrow will be around 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I love you guys.